First and foremost, I was on the introductory call, but face to face, which we don't get to do this much anymore. It's good to have you here.
Really something special.
I noticed, just before we started recording, you're talking to Cole Anthony, and I didn't get the details of the conversation. I don't want to eavesdrop too much, Robin, but I can just tell that this group gets along with each other so much. It seems like you've already fit into that sort of mold that's been built. Guys like Cole that are such gel kind of guys. Can you tell early on just how much this team genuinely likes each other?
Yeah, well, like you said, it's early, but I think they've done a great job of finding a roster that fits in, where everybody gets along. I think Coach Moses done a great job of fostering an environment where that can flourish. But most importantly, I think we're not afraid to push each other and compete against each other on the court. We still have that fire. Because, it's one thing to just have a bunch of nice guys, but I don't think that's going to be detrimental to the product on the court.
Relative to the general population, you're still a very young person, but in this locker room, you're like the old guy. You get 10 years on the team average. I looked this up today. The average age of a Magic player right now is 24. You're, 33 years old? What does it feel like to be the elder statesman in the locker room?
I don't think about it a lot because I get they say you're only as young as you think you are in your mind. But
where are you
there's
mentally?
about like 13 or 12. But there's certainly reminders here and there throughout the day, I think.
So you've been very public in your love of all things Disney. I'm sure you get asked about it all the time since you're here. Have you been able to take advantage of that as an Orlando citizen versus somebody that just came here to visit for the theme park side of things?
It's interesting because I get to practice temperance and self-control and all those exciting things. And I love theme parks in general. So to be down here, it's exciting. It's fun. But I know obviously I'm down here for basketball, and I'm gonna try to find ways to enjoy it. Like Cole when he came up, he's talking about going to Halloween Horror Nights, to enjoy it with my teammates, to find a way to, make sure that it's not a negative on my season, on our season, but something that will behoove us all.
Training camp starts tomorrow, preseason on October 4th. The regular season gets started on October 20th. How long does it take you to feel like you're 100% yourself? Mid-season form, as they say.
Oh, that's a good question. With COVID the past 2 seasons, it's been a little bit different. Especially in Washington last year, I think just about every team had starts and stops, intermediate starts and stops. So this year, I'm hoping it'll be pretty soon, but you never know with how everything's been going.
How much has the vaccine side of things been a conversation? Like we've talked about, you're close with your teammates. It seems like a tight-knit group, and family has arguments or disagreements, different opinions. Jonathan Isaacs has been raked over the coals on social media for his stance. What's it been like? Obviously not going to divulge too much locker room stuff, but is that a conversation that's had?
I think you when you said family, and that's something that's important. It's something that I'm sure I'm new here, so I'm sure guys have talked about it. And I'm sure we will talk about it, but it's something that's going to stay. It's going to stay between us, whatever conversation we have, I think.
ESPN.com put their rankings out of the top 100 players. You've been in the league for a bit. LeBron was ranked 3rd. We don't see that a lot these days. Do you think is there a player in the league that has surpassed LeBron James in your mind? Is there a new king of the NBA?
That's so hard to say. It's so hard to say because comparing players can be difficult in and of itself, but LeBron has done so much, and from season to season, he's been nearly unprecedented in playing whatever it is. How old is he now?
I think he's about 36.
Yeah,
we actually graduated high school the same year, not at the same high school. But that's how I know. There's very few players I know their exact age, but I think he's at 36, 37.
But it seems like whatever age he's at, he's setting the pace. He's the first player at 35 to do this, the first player at 34 to do this. So I don't see any reason why he would have any kind of serious decline. When you're almost splitting hairs when you get up that high.
Well, okay, let's go all time. So you're a big man. Is there a guy that you look at that you've watched film highlights of that you just admire the way that they played the game prior to when you got in the league?
My favorite big men have always been Tim Duncan and then Shaq. But the
So
guy
different too.
yeah, and the guy that I always, when I was younger, I always kind of said that I wanted to be like that in the league. I never had the athleticism, but I always admired Marcus Camby too. Somebody that I thought that's something that I think I can do on the floor.
Do you take it personally that the league is almost, I don't want to say phasing out big man, size is still so important, but just the prototypical big man that you park right there on the post, low post, and just go to town. That's not a thing anymore.
I think there's really a premium on skill. If you're good enough to get away with playing in the post, they're going to let you do it. I think you're seeing a lot of big guys that they're really excelling in multiple facets of the game, especially offensively. They're not just being pinned down to a block. They can score on the block, like Joel. He can score on the block, against anybody. But he's also able to get points from the elbows, from the wing, from up top.
How happy were you for your brother in getting that championship this year with Milwaukee?
I don't know. I'm still not sure they won because I didn't watch the game. I was watching the Paddington movies instead.
That's perfect. Perfect way to end it. Robin Lopez, big man here with the Orlando Magic in town now to help these big guys along. Thanks so much, Robin. I appreciate it. That's great. That was a great line. Take it easy, man.
Thank you.